So some of the most iconic I'm back moments, Michael Vick's 100 million dollar deal, right? His second, the only player in NFL history at the time to have two separate $100 million deals. Mr. 45, Michael Jordan, greatest comeback of all time. He come back at three peats again for the second time, right? And then this is one of my personal favorites. Now this album, this Michael Jackson Bad album, is actually my favorite album of Michael Jackson. I know. Y'all say, why not Thriller? Right? Well, Thriller's okay. Thriller's short. And I just didn't like the cover art too well. I mean, if I'm being honest, like this matters, but there's a whole moment for this, right? Me and my brothers used to sit around. My uncle had this VHS tape, right? And the Moonwalker, it was a movie. It was Michael Jackson's movie, and literally it was the entire album in video form. If you ain't got the chance, go check it out. And that's been with me my entire life. It was just so brilliant that you can have this musical, because it's basically what it was, yet it was theatrical. And Mr. Jackson here, this was his truly bad era. If you don't know anything about what was going on at this time, he actually lost a lot of supporters, or his supporters were on the fence. Let me say that, because Mr. Jackson no longer looked the way that he used to. Mr. Jackson had the long curly hair instead of the big afro. He had the pointy nose instead of the wide nose. Mr. Jackson said it didn't matter if you were black or white, but he was seeing that it mattered. Now, we had a lot of other situations as to why he did this, but this was great. This was Michael Jackson. See, a lot of people at this time didn't think Michael still had it, right? Because he changed his look. They didn't think Michael was going to still be Michael. As a matter of fact, this album, while it did very well, this album took a little bit longer than Thriller to do the numbers that it did. This album, he didn't win any awards for, by the way. This specific album didn't get, see, Thriller, he cleaned up, right? And then they blackballed him for this album. So the bad era, the Michael Jackson, like, I have a special, this has a special place. Michael Jackson bad. So this was the other thing that I wanted to make sure, because this was one of the greatest comebacks. So we talked about all these great comebacks. I thought about Tiger Woods, but Tiger Woods, he never was the same at all. That, it was a great comeback. It was a great story, but yeah, he never was the same. So that is the reasoning as to why I thought that we should do that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I get in my creative bag sometimes, just sometimes. But I digress. So, with all of that being said, we left. I believe it was like October. I had just started as well. I had just started a new job. Good job. And I had to decide on what it was I wanted to do. I had to grow up. I had to put on my grown man pants. See, I've been with you guys since before I had children. Okay, now I have 3 children, right? My oldest is 8. Been with you guys, I believe it was 2014, so we're coming up on 10 years of doing this, right? So there's a lot of growing that you have to do within these situations, right? You have to understand the time that you once had, you no longer have. You have to make sure that everyone is being taken care of, that everyone is being included, right? Friends that were once friends are no longer friends. Family that was once really close are no longer close. And the ease of doing what it was that you were doing is no longer as easy. And this can cause stress. And me, I'm hard headed. I'm a show me type of person, right? I don't tell me I can't do nothing. Don't even play with me like that, because I'm going to prove to you with every fiber of my being that this can be done. Well, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that I felt as if I could juggle being serious about my day job and being serious when it came to the hip hop corner. And I know I'm talking a lot about me, but when it comes to the production of the hip hop corner, when it comes to the video editing, when it comes to running the social media accounts, when it comes to the bookings, when it comes to the interviews, when it comes to uploading and cutting, and when it comes to all of that, it is me. We as the hip hop corner do not have a team. It is me and my brother till the wheels fall off. To this day, like, is what it is. Why? I don't trust many people, right? I don't. This is my baby. Like, I can't allow just anyone to come in just because they rock with us, right? There's a certain way that this is handled and this is produced that if I hand it to somebody else, not gonna get that same result. And I don't want to be that guy, right? I don't want to be the tyrant. I don't want to be the a-hole. I don't want any of those situations. So I just choose to keep it with myself. And in turn, this brings about a lot of stress. And I always say that CHH is great, but CHH is not like a real place, right? It's like this imaginary bubble, right? When in all actuality, everybody coexists with everybody. But for some way, it gets put into this mini earth inside of a large world, right? And you have to step out of that a lot of times to really see the big picture of everything that's going on, right? And so I had to make a decision, and I chose to not allow the hip hop corner to bleed into what was going on in my actual life. It was actually a really good decision. It was a really good decision. I feel like it was great for my brother because he had, he's taken some more steps in what he got going on. He's received a promotion. Shouts out to him. Congrats, Chris. And so it was just, man, look, it's some really great people out there. Shouts out to Proper Excel, Fast Break. Track stars are still still hanging in there. And I don't want to say it like they, barely in there now. Track stars still doing it big. I love the new studio. Shouts out to Track stars. Rapzilla still going strong. There was, in looking at all of this, artists aren't the same people who battle comparison issues. Like I'm really for the people, right? The hip hop corner was created based on the people. When we first came in here, a lot of people didn't know who we were. They didn't like what we did. And yet the people really rocked with us. Like, the people still was like, yo, I know this doesn't fit the blueprint of what's going on in Christian hip hop or what Christian hip hop media is, but there's something different about y'all, and I like y'all. I like what y'all do. I really appreciate this, right? And that's great. It really is great. It has gotten us through some really tough times. The love of the people have really gotten us through um, some some dark times, for real, for real. But oftentimes we, as long most like everybody else, oftentimes we can forget past accomplishments, past situations. Like I have this weird thing that I do where I will forget. And maybe y'all are different than what I am, but I'll forget everything that like we have accomplished and get to what we're not doing and what we don't have and how it doesn't look. I am, or I consider myself to be a perfectionist. I am my own worst critic. There are interviews that I have not dropped because they're just something, whether aesthetically, audio quality wise, timing of when it was supposed to come out. I ain't let them drop. And then you get to a situation, like I say, you go and you've been in this thing for so long, and it seems like that there are ones that blow up. Just keep it a bean. They blow up a bit faster than you, right? And so then you start to wonder if what you're doing is right, if what you're doing people still care about, if what you're doing um, is even worth the time, effort, and emotion you put into this. Like for the moments that I've gotten a bit out of character, and you guys know my character, so if I say got a bit out of character, you know it was crazy. But the times that I've gotten out of character, they've been emotional responses. They've been emotional times because, as a lot of people say, um, excuse my French, but I'm sensitive about my shit. And so when you see certain things going on and people act one way in the DMs and they act another way publicly, or you feel like you're not getting the adoration that you deserve, you get a bit touchy, right? Because you feel like you've put in enough time, but whatever. So all of this stuff was happening at the same time through me. And I'm very impulsive. I'm very impulsive. So, for example, this stream, right? Y'all didn't know I was coming on here. I didn't tell nobody. My wife knew. And I kind of ran it by my brother yesterday, but I don't really think he was paying attention to me. So this is probably a real surprise to him too. But I did talk to my wife about it. And I thought long and hard, like, what would you normally do in a situation like this, right? You would promote it, you would let people know you're going, you would do this, you would do that, make sure. But I wanted to make sure that I was even in the right space to actually do this. So I didn't make the decision until maybe an hour before I jumped on here that this is what was going to happen. But see, this is what I like, right? Because the people that are here are the people that want to be here. The people that are here actually care to hear what I have to say, and then everybody else can find out later, right? So I make a lot of impulsive decisions. Because I feel like that those decisions are the most genuine decisions, right? No plan, no purpose, no trying to get something out of it. You just did it because in that moment, it was the right thing to do. In that moment, that was a true, gut feeling. This got me in trouble a lot. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. This got me in trouble a lot. It's also made for great situations. Before I actually decided to be done with the hip hop corner, do y'all know I actually met DC Young Fly? Do y'all know I actually had a conversation with DC Young Fly? I'm talking about I actually saw him and had a conversation with him about being on the show. If y'all want to hear this story, I can tell y'all this story too. But to back up just a tad bit, this was all going on within that time frame. And as I stated, by the way, shouts out to the family, shouts out to y'all. Yeah, that's crazy, right? But shouts out to y'all. For about 6 to 8 months, we were doing, or I was doing, the hip hop corner full time and was able to provide for my family. I didn't have another job other than the hip hop corner. So the crazy thing is that the thing that I had prayed about nights on end was actually happening. Yet I still wasn't satisfied. And I wouldn't say I wasn't satisfied, but it wasn't as glamorous as what I thought. Number one, it was way more work. I would just keep it 1,000 with y'all. It was way more work. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to clock in at a certain time. Didn't have to clock out at a certain time. Didn't have to wake up at a certain time. I literally could just live my life. So I thank y'all for that. But there were certain things that we as the hip hop corner could not do without another stream of income. And the age-old saying always is to do what you love, or work your job to fund what you love. Work your job to fund your passion, right? And so it's like we're doing this and we're making it. Bills are getting taken care of. Like, you know what I'm saying? God's really coming through. A lot of people messing with us. We're getting huge stories, huge interviews. Well, we interviewed D1 and KB and Lecrae all within the same year, right? So we pop, like we knocking them out. And there was still things that we could not do. Financially, there were certain trips and certain engagements and certain things that we could not make and could not do because we just didn't have the funds. I'm a prideful person. So instead of asking, instead of borrowing, it ain't gonna happen. And the crazy part about it is every time these situations popped up, there was always something catastrophic that was happening. We was without power for a week. There was a crazy storm that wound up happening at the time. And so it really made for situations that we just couldn't finish our obligations. But this too started to weigh on me. Like this too started to weigh on the hip hop corner. Man, we out here, we able to do all of this, but when it comes to actually being in the belly of the beast, like we ain't got no way to do it unless they come in here. We ain't got no way to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it becomes a bit, you start thinking less of what you got going on. You start thinking less of your abilities. And so my thought was, hey, let's go ahead and get this job. I haven't even, like I told you, I started when I didn't have no kids. My kids don't know life without the hip hop corner. My wife of 10 years doesn't know anything of me like me without the hip hop corner, right? It's always been me and the hip hop corner with my kids. They grew up with it. And so I was like, you know what? Let's experience life where they have all of me. Because, like I said, things change, right? Now I'm trying to battle time between family and making sure y'all get what y'all get. And now I'm about to throw on a full-time job on top of this. Yeah, that's about to be crazy. Like, there's no way. But I tried it for a little bit and just finally came to the realization that, yo, this ain't gonna work. Christian hip hop is good right now. Like, Christian hip hop is fine. They got people that not only cover Christian hip hop, but do exactly what we used to do or what we were doing at the time, right? Covering all the topics that people normally wouldn't cover, right? Even Rapzilla starts stepping into this space, right? So it's just like, hey, y'all don't need us. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. You know what really did it? Like, what really kind of put me on the edge? When I follow these stories, when I get the information and I start digging and the snowball gets bigger and bigger, it takes a lot out of me emotionally, physically, mentally. It takes a lot of, like, people think that we get joy out of reporting on the types of things that we report on. Look, man, we just trying to keep everybody accountable. We're just trying to make everybody stand on business. That's what it is. And we were once the fans that cared about this. We think that everything is rosy dozy and that everybody is cool. Yet we going to concerts and niggas is telling us, yeah, that ain't what that is. Not only did this because of this, that, and the third. People in our DMs, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, this was before we were who we are today. So we go home after a concert. It was 3 of us in the hip hop corner at that time. We go home after a concert, after situations, like, yo, did you hear that? I would have never thought. But they said, but in the music, it said. Started getting real interesting. Wanted to see how far this web really goes, right? How far this is this. It was interesting to us. You know, like Christian hip hop. There's some interesting stories in here. I wonder if other people care. And y'all cared, right? Fast forward, and here we are today. So it's always something that intrigued me or intrigued us when it came to the space of Christian hip hop. Because it was it's what made Christian hip hop unique, right? It was like, dang, we really rap about God and we want to be right. We want to do right. These stories that we are rapping about or singing about are real stories. But we got the same issues as hip hop. Some niggas think other niggas can't rap. Some niggas think other niggas is corny. Some niggas just trying to get a check. Like, these things really happen. It was like, yo, this is kind of interesting. This makes you real. This makes you human. Now, this person don't have to be like, hey, I don't really want to have that conversation because you're going to judge me. No. This nigga, you see, come on, man. He just like me and you. But the snowball got bigger and bigger. And so a lot of times when I follow stories and the rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper, it becomes very taxing. So the most recent story that we followed, including Indie Tribe and that Aaron Knight situation, as I stated, I don't have a team. And I'm trying to do this all within the time that I have, on top of being a football coach for my son, basketball coach for my son and my daughter. Like, on top of trying to make sure I'm having the time with my wife. Like, it's a lot of work to be put in there. And then the stress from my job, trying to be great, trying to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to so that we still in this thing when it's time to go to these certain events. Yeah, it became a lot. It became a lot. Following that story had me so emotionally taxed that I was asleep for about 2 days. And I don't mean that literally, like, but for 2 days after that final video I put out, yeah, I was spent. I was done. All I wanted to do was sleep. So that led to, as well, and I believe shortly after that, I can probably get back and look, but I don't really remember. But shortly after that is when we had the interview with D1, right? And then it started seeming like, as I'm doing this, I'm like, man, what's really going on, right? I'm not even doing, at this point, I'm not even doing the hip hop corner for the same reason that I started doing the hip hop corner for. Like, I'm at this point caring more about this rabbit hole than what I care about the music. To the point where, man, I probably listen to CHH. I was doing it once a week. Shouts out to new release today, I believe. Derek, shouts out to him. They kept me in the loop for a little bit because I would go and listen to their playlist. I was able to see at a quick measure, what was out there, what I liked, what didn't, who was doing what, right? But it was literally becoming a once a week thing. And we were only doing episodes or I was so like, man, I gotta find that next big one. Like, because that indie trap that was huge. That was probably the biggest story that we broke since the Gabi situation. Now, we've had big things happen, interviewing Kel Mitchell, having Scooty Wop on the show. I want to say Mike Teasy was on around that time. Like, we've had a lot of big things happen. But when you get those hits like that, and you get those, damn, niggas really care about what I'm talking about, you itching for it. You looking for it again. Where's the next one? And I had to really look at myself and be like, nigga, you following the beef, the drama, the rabbit hole more than you following the music. Why are we even here? And I'm like, damn. Like, that's deep. Because when we first started, right? I mean, it was literally just because 116 was them niggas, Reach Records. I remember going to high school, and at this time, this is when Kratom is all with the Canuck camps and everything like that. And this was the first time. Ken Jones was cool. Ken Jones was okay at this time. But this was the first time I could play something in my car. You know what I'm saying? I'm hooping at the time, playing football, popular kid. Like, this was the first time, 06, that I could play something while I'm taking my niggas home, because I'm the only one with a car at the time. And I ain't got to listen to T.I. I could throw this on, but they ain't making fun of it. They not laughing. They not joking. They even asking me, like, who these niggas? I put my brothers on. because they're younger than me. They love it. They putting their friends on. And it really felt like we found somebody that spoke to kind of our lifestyle, like people who, went to church, but we're in real life. We're dealing with real people. We even take on um, some of these personalities, right? Because hip hop is raising us at this moment. Hip hop and gospel music is raising us at this moment, right? So I know. So with all of that being said, we started making a show because hey, we like these people and maybe someone else out in a YouTube verse like these people too. Eventually we all connected and we here. Yet, when you start seeing people talk about smoke, it's gotta be a fire somewhere. And that smoke cloud got bigger and bigger until we found out that Christian hip hop was on fire. And then from that point, you have what you have today. Legends. You have what some would call goats. You have y'all niggas. So my brother was always telling me, he was like, hey man, you gotta figure out who you're gonna feed. Either you're gonna feed the supporters or you're gonna feed the artists. And I tried to play the middle, like, nah, I could do both. And when you try to do both, your reporting gets a bit skewed. You start watching what you say. You start watching how and who you report. You start giving people certain passes that you wouldn't give other people. And the supporters they notice it. They notice it. And then that's when you have to have another hard look at what you're doing and what's going on. So I was outside. I was putting my kids in the car. And I said, you know what? I don't think that I'm in here for the right reasons. I don't think that I'm really doing this purely enough for anyone. Here I am reporting on Christian hip hop and barely even listen to it. The people involved is dope. Friends I've made, the artists that I've been able to talk to. One of the things that I love about Christian hip hop is that it makes me look like a superhero to my kids. Because this is the music that we were listening to a lot. Because they saw me talk to Mike Teasy. Because they went with me to be able to interview Craig. Because Portia Love, I want to say she did something for my daughter. I can't remember, but I think so. I know Mike Teasy responded to my son. I look like a superhero. Love that. These are their favorite artists, and I'm able to have dialogue with them. My son loves D1. He wants to tell D1, by the way, that he listened to his album, that he really, really liked it. But I was outside, I was with my kids in the car, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and move around. CHH is good. It's in good hands right now. If it's meant for us to have and for us to do, it'll still be there when we get back. I got other things that I need to focus on, mainly my family and this job. And I focus more on my family. We got to do a lot of stuff together. If y'all go back to our track record of kind of how we were posting at the beginning of 2023, you notice there are a lot of spaces because I was outside a lot more. One of the dopest things that I got to do was me and my kids went to 2 WWE live events, SmackDown and Raw. One with my wife, it's her first time. It's our first time. Like, I got to be a kid again, man. I got to live. I got to feel what it was like to not have no pressure, just to go about my day. Because I had the pressure. I had the pressure. Facts. The family's your first ministry. You know, I literally had a conversation with my wife, and I said, when I was telling her that I was going to stop dealing with the hip hop corner, this was, I want to say this was around Thanksgiving. No, it had to be earlier than that. And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and let it go. And I let her know everything that I told y'all, following the drama, not doing it from a pure standpoint anymore, like just doing it just because you on autopilot. She said, well, why? And I said, because I don't want you being second no more. Like being a creative, being a creative, being a one person or two person team. And because you know the news cycle is so quick, because you know that everybody wants more, you tend to make that the priority. You don't want to be forgotten, right? Don't want to be forgotten. You want to stay out there. You want your visibility to be there. And people tend to get pushed towards the back. That shouldn't be. And so, again, y'all met me before I was married. Y'all met me before I had kids. Y'all met me in my 20s. I had to grow up. And I had to have that moment with myself. Hey, I'm actually tired of you being second. You won't say nothing because you support what I do. You won't say anything because you think that what I have is really, really special. You're one of my biggest supporters. When I'm down and I can't do it, when the emotions is flying, when I really want to just set it off, right? You're there. You take the, when I lash out because of whatever's going on, you're getting that. My family is getting that. How do you be in second? And so not only did I leave the hip hop corner and just drop it, I told my brother this too. Long story short, make a short story long. My bad. We did that, and then that was it. And I started doing more things with my family. Started having more moments where it was just us, just about us. The funny thing is, my kids, I mean, they wanted to know when I was going to do it again, and they didn't get it. So then the crazy part about it is, I guess what I thought I didn't have, or what I thought that I was missing out, like I was there, but I know I was there a lot more when I let go of the responsibility. I didn't have an indefinite time. As a matter of fact, we lost our Twitter because I didn't think I'd ever come back at all. And so I didn't log into Twitter for 30 days. I put it on like a little suspension, whatever the case is. And I tried to get back in it. It ain't there. We usually hurt and neglect the ones closest to us. Facts. They there. Every step of the way. Like, and they take it because they know that it's what you're under is stress and what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that when I say that they take it, it's like they get it and they wait for you to come out of that. Because I know myself, once I come out, I see it. And I apologize. And I take the necessary steps to get better in those moments. And so with my wife knowing me and understanding that, she allows me the space to, get my itch off. Now I come back. We have a conversation. How can I be better? How can I make it to where you're not feeling this as much? What steps do I need to take? Do we need to schedule, times that I do this? Do we need to, however we can get it together, let's get it together because I want to get it together. And that's how we've been together for as long as we have. Like I said, she doesn't know, she doesn't know a me without having to work on the hip hop one. We've had spaces and moments that we've taken trips and, had time for ourselves, but to really make her first, it was different. So we did a lot more. We got to talk a lot more, communicate, actually see what was going on. Awesome things happened. Shout out to my son. He's already received notice that he's been promoted to the 4th grade, and the season or the semester isn't even over yet because he's doing math and reading at a very high level. So shouts out to Jay Twice. My daughter just started gymnastics. She is super excited about it. And she's taken to it very well. I'm a basketball coach. She's not as put together when we play basketball, but just the moments that we have together is fun. But I had to make that decision, man. As much as I love y'all, that was the decision that I had to make. I no longer listen to Christian hip hop at all. I no longer followed what was going on in Christian hip hop. And I was outside. I was enjoying outside. Now, I will say this. I never stopped listening to people, or I would make sure that if Paris had something drop, I'll listen to Paris. 1K Few, I'll listen to 1K Few. I was actually very excited too. And I kind of hated that we pulled the plug before he released this album with Zaytoven. But I was really excited that he was dropping that. But I would always listen to those type of people because they matched where I was in my life at that time. So I would make sure to keep up with them. But outside of that, I didn't. And it was cool. The one thing that I got out of that, though, is that you can't escape CHH. I got Madden 24, and for those, whoever got Madden 24, the playlist. Lecrae and Eddie Mineo got 2 records on there, and NF got a record on there. And then I want to say, no, I don't think is Few on 2K. I know it was a couple years ago, but I don't know if he's on it now. I can't remember, but there was no way to escape it. That's how big it is, and that's how dope it is. Then the whole situation with D1, and then he started going after, who was it, Meek Mill and Rick Ross, and that whole situation. I was like, dang, Christian hip hop is blowing up. Like, it is out of here. Then I started seeing little drama here and there, not even searching it out, like literally, like, because I logged out of any social media that had to do with Christian hip hop. I logged out of it all. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, because I didn't want to come back sooner than what I needed to. I didn't want the itch, because what has happened in times past, because I'm still following, I'm still watching, it's like, yeah, come on, let's get in there, it's our time now, let's go. They missing us. I didn't want that to happen this time. I really wanted to cleanse. I really wanted to take this time out. And so I did, but unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to put it, there were times that the CHH trauma hit me. And it was like, dang. Well, it wasn't like, dang. It was like, all y'all niggas that was sitting there talking about the crew keep up this, and the crew do that, and the crew is toxic. Y'all didn't need us to be toxic. Y'all was toxic all by yourselves. We just had a group discussion with our supporters about the toxicity. Somebody Google that. I think I put some extra letters on there to make it a word. Although, sounds good. You know, so group therapy. Thank you, Jay. Hey, good to see you, man. It's so dope for you to be in here. Shouts out to y'all, man. That's Not Christian. Shouts out to That's Not Christian. So, we find ourselves here. So, why am I back? Why am... Y'all saw the title. It says, I said we were back, but... Maybe y'all believe this whole Ice Spice situation? We're getting there in a second. But the reason why I said but is because we're going to be doing this a little bit differently. These group therapy moments, thank you. We're going to have more of these. I just want to sit in front of y'all and just have a conversation, man. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. I don't care. Because I'm not as invested in Christian hip hop anymore. I feel like that if I came back now, if I went as hard as I was, it would be inauthentic. And I would be right back to the point of why I left in the first place. Do I still like Christian hip hop? I still love the artist. I still love the fact that I can play something in my car without a bunch of nonsense. My kids love it. But I'm just not as invested. I think that I have gotten out of our position, as much out of our position as we could. For example, I'll let y'all in. Saying I don't feel invested. There are artists that I support and kept looking out for. Exactly. Dang, lost and found, same thing. You outgrew the space. It is what it is. I'm in the same spot. See? Come on, man. So then at that point, what I speak is facts. And if I got in right now, how can someone outgrow CHH? I mean, it looks differently. It looks differently for everybody. Because you outgrow CHH doesn't mean you outgrow God. Let me put that out there because I don't want nobody to think that that's the case. But in my situation, after I interviewed Cray, KB, D1, all in the same year, and it's huge. Cray is a 4-time Grammy winner. KB is a Dove Award winner. D1 had a chart-topping album just released. He's a professor at Harvard, or was.
I said, is this it? I said, is this my ceiling? Is this the hip hop corner ceiling? So these people are very notable people, not just within CHH, but even in the world. Like, they are. But I'm sitting here like, is this my ceiling? Is this what this is going to be? Oh, we interview Kel Mitchell. Is this what this is going to be? You're either okay with that or you're not. And I wasn't. I don't know how much further this could have went. I don't know how much where it could have gone. I just know that after 10 years of what we were doing, it wasn't what I wanted. It didn't feel as fresh. If y'all notice, our last few episodes was literally us just talking about regular stuff with a little bit of CHH sprinkled in. Why? To service those that watch us that love Christian hip hop. But to answer that question, how does one outgrow CHH? It's different for everybody else. But that's the moment. That's what I started feeling. But then when I'm trying to listen to Christian hip hop and I feel like it's more of a job than what it is for my enjoyment. And then I'm not even reporting on it the way that I'm listening to it. I feel like I'm listening to it because I have to. I feel like I need my time away. I feel like I have outgrown it a little bit. You know, who knows? And I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know what to call it until this moment. I just know that, like I said, I wasn't invested. Like, there was a time that when we were doing the hip hop corner, I really felt as if I was helping those within Christian hip hop. Like, I really felt as if I was helping the space of Christian hip hop. And I'm not talking about what we got into. I'm talking about when I first started. Telling people about new albums that dropped, telling them whether we liked them, whether we didn't. You know, ranking Christian hip rap artists. It was great. Now, I was just listening to the music just to say, when people be like, hey, have you heard? Oh, yeah, I heard them. Yeah, that record's dope. But I didn't care to hear them. Like, come on, man. And so, with that being said, we're back. And we still love the CHH space. So we will still occasionally feed the CHH space. But that's about it. I am going to continue doing this. Speaking of y'all, I will as well have my own personal Instagram and YouTube channel. Y'all can come and we can keep having these discussions. And then whenever we decide to speak about Christian hip hop, then that will be on the Christian hip hop channel. Because I built that from, me and my brother, we built that from the ground up. Our hard work and grits, the stand up to 2 o'clock in the morning on a day that you have to be at work at 6 to make sure you get the editing done. That's something that you can't just wipe away. That's why I can't just say that the hip hop corner will never be again. Because Christian hip hop came at a very pivotal point in my life. Being in a public school and hormones are raging, and there are certain pressures placed, hearing Man Up, great. You know, we was just in here talking about Kenton Jones. Hearing You're Cute, but not cute enough for my salvation helped. These are the reasons why I started going and covering Christian hip hop as hard as I started doing it. This was amazing. I wanted everybody to know. But the thing is now everybody is knowing. There are so many other pages that are exposing this at such a rapid pace that it's really beautiful to see. And at that point, y'all will get what y'all get from us. And I hope y'all like it, man. But, you know, it's time to transition to something a bit different. We like all things music, whether it's pop, whether it's rock, rap, whatever, theatrical. We like musicals. We like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we are a plethora of creativity, and we just want to display that. I also tried out for the Circle. I didn't get to do my Big Brother audition, but I want to be on the Circle. Shout out to Netflix, man. I hope I get picked for one. But yeah, I did that too. So that was fun. So yeah, like I said, I'm definitely trying new things, man. I'm happy y'all got in here. And we've been in here for almost 2 hours. I'm happy y'all came in here, chopped it up with me. I love the dialogue that we having. What we got in here? Social media is wild, man. I think as Christian creatives, you definitely need a balance, or it will catch up to you. If the focus is always grinding to the top, you feel like you're losing yourself. And that's a fact. Like, for real. Like, you feel like you're doing this. You're just doing this. You can't turn it off. I've been asleep at times, and I can't turn it off. It's just going. So you got to pull back. And that's what I did. And I was able to see, I was able to see certain clarity. Like, I was able to have certain clarity. Like I said, you're going to bring back Jay twice for the outro. Whoa, what? Man, did I use that? Did I use that? No. Dang, that's crazy. Get back to your first love, bro. Yeah. So, I say all that to say that, the Hip Hop Corner is still here, man. We still going to do whatever we're going to do. But, I just kind of want to make sure that on one side, I kind of want to separate what we do, where we do it, and how we move. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to have a space for those that, if you don't care to talk about just regular whatever, then you don't have to transition, right? You can stay right here, and whenever we come to talk about Christian hip hop, however we do, then you'll be, right here. Those that is a part of the tribe for which I spoke about earlier, that's what we're doing. That's where we're going. That's where we're going to be at. That's where a lot of our time is going to be. But the crew is the crew. Whenever me and my brother together, whenever we talk, you know what I'm saying? That's that. And I think that this way it'll be a lot more genuine. I think that this way it'll be a lot more to the point. Like, That's what I believe that's going to happen in this, and that's why I want to do this. So, anyway. But we're about to get out of here, man. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. Glad y'all came to my J Talk. It's been fun, man. Everything's been dope. And I know people don't, some people may, I don't know what they're going to say. I don't care. I don't care. Hey, it's for who it's for. But y'all let me know, man. So whenever I do get everything lined up, get that YouTube channel, I get that up within the next couple days, and I'll move this there, Instagram and all of that. Y'all make sure to lock in with me. And we're going to make it happen. I'm out of here. One time for the one time. You already know who it is, what it is, and what we do, baby. It's your boy Jay. And it's on.